My dear friend Steve Oliver, you are going to stand for New Zealand Loyal, and this will bring joy to a lot of hearts around New Zealand because you were that warrior man who said, I'm keeping my gym open no matter what they do to me, no matter how many times WorkSafe comes, no matter how many fines they give me. What made you keep that gym open for the area that you will now be standing in? That was New Lynn. What made you do it? What made you commit to your community to such an extent?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a ethos that I've been brought up with. I mean, it's just about community and doing the right thing and standing your ground if something's wrong. So I just that's basically it. I mean, it was just obviously wrong, so we just said it wasn't happening.
But it was so much more. I remember doing, I think, the second or third interview around that time, and you said, Liz, there are couples who are on the edge of splitting because of the stress. There are kids cutting themselves. There are kids talking about suiciding, kids being kept out of sports teams. I have to keep this gym open as a community resource. I owe it to my community. It's much bigger than how you describe it. I remember thinking,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just I'm just trying to continue on in my in the footsteps of my father. It's his legacy, and I just know I knew at the time that and my mum was alive at the time. We've since lost her, but she, I knew that I had their blessing that if the gym was to fall, it was a worthy cause. So. That's what we did. We just pitched our tent and see what was happening. But it was interesting times. But we luckily kept going, and we're out the other side. Well, not out the other side altogether, But we're still going through the proceedings. But no, I just just the overwhelming support was a real asset and a real comfort for us. We thought at the start, I thought the world had gone mad. And we were the only ones in the world thinking, what we were thinking, but it was definitely not the case.
I'll never forget the first time I met you. I'd read the article. It was Christmas Eve. It was the year of the first rollout. They're all blurred now. I can't even remember the date exactly. What year was that? Was that 2021?
Must have been a couple of years ago.
Couple of years ago.
Two Christmases.
And we come to you on Christmas Eve. Unbeknown to me, you're almost on the verge of bankruptcy because of what this thing has done. And this is what it's done to so many mum and dad businesses. You came back from that holiday, and from that one interview, there was so much support, wasn't there? Not just in terms of, thank you, Steve, your standing has given me courage, but there was financial support at that time too, wasn't there?
Yeah. No, we're eternally grateful for the people that contributed to our cause. It's got us, to where we are now. And without that, we would have gone under the wheels.
And what's beautiful is standing somehow politically, even though you and I don't want to be politicians, I think we're going to call ourselves representatives because we represent the real Kiwis. What you're doing is giving back to all of those who donated. What made you choose, Steve, New Zealand Loyal? Because you've had approaches from other parties as well, as have some of our other candidates.
Yeah, I just, to be honest, I've seen the way you live your life, and it's resonated with me. Is just you're always putting yourself out there and really 100 and 200% for the people, and words are cheap, but I've seen you live it, and I'm happy to support, someone that lives like that, So it was you, really.
That's incredible, because I feel the same with you. I watch what you do in the community, and I want to bring here, I want to bring your wonderful wife, Chrissy, because you've often said to me, you wouldn't be doing anything without Chrissy's support. All these incredible tournaments you do and the raising of the children, and it's a team effort for the Olivers out in New Lynn, isn't it?
Yeah, no, she's an integral part of it's a team. We work really well as a team, and she does more than her fair share. She's a great mum, and you know, never misses an opportunity to just do the absolute best for the kids with anything, you know, right from, you know, any sort of outing or you know, birthday cakes. She'll do the design, and just goes all out on every possible thing. And it's yeah, it's impressive to see, you know, the amount of energy she puts out. And it's you know, it's a worry at the same time because of the amount of pressure that we've been under over the last few years. And the workload is with everybody's under so much pressure, you know, just trying to meet bills and you know, just it is tough. So she, you know, just hats off to Chrissy. She just is an amazing wife and mother. You know?
She keeps going, and often at the gym, often in that reception area in Oliver's gym in New Lynn. As well as that, you've got some pretty solid people in your team standing up to help you get organised to run this campaign. Can you tell us a bit about that, Steve?
Yeah, we've had a couple of you know, key people turn up right from the outset. It's Brendan and Steph that you know, were running Lone Star restaurant, and that was a real you know, that was really huge for us going to Lone Star. You know, the ability to go to the Lone Star without being you know, ejected at the door through those times. You know, we hadn't, you know, gone out as a family for over a year when we heard what Steph and Brendan were doing. So we went down there and was, you know, blessed to be able to go out with the family a couple of times when the pressure was really at its peak, you know. So that was, you know, epic for us as a family, and it really gave me an idea of, you know, the need in the community, you know, because we were needing, you know, some sort of, you know, social outing. We, you know, got to the point where you just didn't want to go out, and you know, because we didn't wear masks, you know, so every outing was you know, potential you know, issue with shopkeepers and just public, you know, trying to, you know, public just going hysterical about masks and stuff. And so yeah, it was a tough time. We weren't going out anywhere as a family, and, you know, going down to Lone Star was a real blessing for us and many others too.
Brendan and Steph are heroes to many. They held their doors open through the mandates. They welcomed everybody. They weren't having apartheid. For that, they basically got driven out of their business. And one of the things, Steve, the NZLoyal tax policy that we've put out is to help those mum and dad businesses across New Zealand fire up again, because the policy will put a whole lot more money in middle class New Zealand pockets, including yours. But they were terrific. I remember turning up to interview them both, and they were devastated. A lawyer that I used to admire, May Chen, had just been screaming at Steph down the phone, just take the jab, which a lawyer should never do. A lawyer should be objective. Yeah. You listen to your client, you serve your client's needs. And I saw Steph walking off. I was really worried. I said to Brendan, will she be all right? Do we need to go and, you know, that same worry so many of us had of people being pushed beyond the edge. But if I ever see May, I'll say that was so wrong what you did, just for a group of politicians who are now proven liars. So we move on. We know that horror happened, but there are still the naysayers now. Steve, what do you say to those? And I've asked everyone this, who go, oh, you can't do it. You'll never get there. You know, there are too many small parties. And what do you say to those people who try to knock it, this wonderful Kiwi spirit that we're spreading person to person?
Yeah, I mean, you know, words are cheap. I mean, oh, you know, I'm disappointed that they're doing this. Well, what are you doing? You know what I mean? I mean, how can you be disappointed in someone that's trying their best and believes 200% in the community? And I think the difference between Loyal and a lot of the other parties is you've got a lot of credos with the New Zealand public. You've been in the New Zealand public, you know, mainstream media most of your life. You know what I mean? So people know you, know who you are, and you know, I think you know, we could. The people have the power, you know. If the people actually realised the power they have, we could stop all this nonsense in a weekend. You know, you just have to say no. You know, no, I'm not wearing your mask. No, I'm not taking a jab. And if you want to stop me coming to work, that's fine. We'll all stay home. You know, run your businesses by yourself. But everyone just buckles. Everyone's, oh no, I've got to do it. I've got to go. You know, but you don't have to do anything. You're just bending over for the system, and you're just allowing them to like manipulate yourself and everyone else that wants to go along with it.
That's so true. And they're talking in Ireland about more lockdowns now. We need to have a group of real Kiwis who will not double speak, who will not say on the campaign trail, oh, yeah, no, I don't approve of it. And then once they get in, go back on their word. And we know that the politicians, the legacy politicians, that is their pattern. They can say all the sweet words now, but they don't honor it when they get in. And NZLoyal, we will stick to our word. We're not wanting to be politicians. We want to represent them.
Oh, you know, like I said, we're under the pump, you know, it's very tough, you know, just with the workload we have. And, you know, it's definitely not my ambition to be a politician, but if my country needs me, and I love the policies you've got, I love whatever it stands for, you stand for, I love the whole, you know, package of Loyal. And I think, you know, I saw a comment in my, you know, a few days ago, oh, you know, you trying to split up the freedom vote. Well, it's not about the freedom vote. I think, like I said before, you've got a lot of pull within the mainstream. You know, we're after the mainstream vote. A lot of the mainstream people are over this bullshit. You know, they're over red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, and they're just handing the ball back to each other. Oh, it's your turn, guys. You guys clip the ticket this term. Okay, now it's back to us. There's no accountability. We know that we've done what we're doing, but now you guys can have a bit of a whack at it, you know, and they're just selling us further and further down the creek. You know, these guys are giving away our freedoms when it's not their freedoms to give away. These guys probably never had a smack in the mouth, you know what I mean? But they're giving away our freedoms that our forefathers bled out on beaches for. These guys are cowards and they're traitors, and they shouldn't be anywhere around a place of power. You know, I mean, they should be out of there.
I say that over and over. The 120 currently in should never be voted back in again. And we are out for way more than the freedom vote, way more than 5%.
Yeah.
We're going to be the party of the farmers and the fishermen and women, and the party of the hunters. Because when you know, Steve, that you and Chrissy can feed your children, and all the families around this country know they've got food security, then you can start to look out a little bit and serve your country, because you're not worrying about where the next meal comes from, the next pay packet to afford things. I'm really honored. I'm honored with all of the people who I've been shoulder tapping to join me, but boy, you feel like a brother to me. I'm really honored to be in these trenches. And you know what, Steve? When I'm in the trenches with you, there isn't 1 second I'd be looking over my shoulder going, is he still there? Is he reliable? I can trust you with my life. I really can. And that's a lot to say. It is a spiritual battle we're in. I believe it's a battle of good versus evil. And we are the Kiwi good, and Kiwis can show the world just how good we are in this election if we vote with our hearts, not all this strategy voting and all this trying to be clever. Just say what appeals to my heart and my gut and vote NZLoyal.
Yeah, I'm here for the kids, man. You know, like I just had my daughter's 3rd birthday yesterday. You know, I've got young kids, young family, and it's just it's devastating to see what they are looking to teach our kids, looking at the future and looking at the people, you know, looking at the ideology that they're preaching to our kids through movies. And the confusion is unbelievable. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be, our job is to give our kids direction, you know, and try and make our kids lives better than ours were. And this mess that they're serving up our kids is just not fit for human consumption. It should be just absolutely put in the bin. I just don't know how it's got as far as it has into our school system. You know, it's depravity. There's just no other word for it. And it's just got no place around our kids.
This is the gender bender stuff that's in the schools. And I see that Tennessee, and I think it was Tennessee in America, Steve, has ruled it out. There is to be no operating on young children. There is to be...
And Putin's banned it.
Yeah. It's got to stop.
Putin's the bad guy apparently, but he's more in touch with what's right and wrong than the West. It's just unbelievable how we've gone down this path. I just can't believe it's happening.
But I believe that we can turn it round very quickly when we get enough Kiwis with us. So your dream, what would be your dream scenario for the new Zealand that we birth? Something with some really good values for me, a lot of talk about having integrity, being your word, keeping to your bond, not shafting one another. What else would you like to see?
I mean, to be honest, just being one people is just what I've grown up with. I was always, probably a minority as far as English descent, or whatever you want to call it, a colonizer. I mean, amongst the crew, but I never realised until later on, that I was probably one of the only Palangis or whatever it is you want to call us in the mix, you know what I mean? And it never registered to me at all, you know what I mean? And, like it was down in Wellington, I mean, there was just a beautiful feeling of just one people and just united in a cause and in life. I mean, there was old ladies walking around there just doing everybody's washing. They weren't asking what your fucker is. You know what I mean? It's just who wants their washing done? I mean, does anyone need a bed for the night? I mean, this is New Zealand, not this segregated bullshit that they're trying to serve up at the moment, trying to throw in dissent and this separation. This is, divide and conquer is real, and it's just sad that we're falling for it, but it's it's more than obvious what they're trying to do to us.
There's a lovely quote that somebody who had his car decked out in NZLoyal colours and a wrap. It looks really good in Tokoroa. And he said to me, Steve, I rang him and said, thank you for doing that off your own bat, using your initiative. And he said, Liz, this is like Freedom Village. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, everyone's taking responsibility for our part in doing something towards taking our country back, living the principles of NZLoyal. I love that. It's a bit like Freedom Village, where we all looked around and went, what can we do to build this, to make this work?
Yeah, everyone, there was no one just sitting around just taking advantage. Everybody was trying to do something.
That's what we're asking people to do for us. And on that note, what can people do for you? I'm saying print off the brochures and get out to New Lynn and deliver them. Absolutely put a brochure for NZLoyal and Steve's face on every wall that you can, and put a brochure in every letterbox. We need the beautiful billboards out there. What else can people do to help? Contact Steph and Brendan?
Potentially. I mean, but to be honest, I'm no politician. I mean, I'm here, I'll stand, I'll go to meetings and I'll do what I need to do. But as far as tactics, we're just going to speak the truth and tell people, our policies and shoot from the hip and just be honest about it, and I'm not too sure what people can do, but just any way they can support you come along to a meeting, whatever, you know what I mean?
Lovely.
But,
we'll put some contacts for your campaign managers down below, and I would say go on nzloyal.org.nz and you'll see where you can print off, you'll see the PDF, print off brochures and get delivering for Steve and for NZLoyal. I'm so looking forward to it, winning our country back with you by my side, Steve Oliver.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the opportunity, and just really pumped to be a part of the team. And it is getting late in the race, but we need to make a move, and now's the time. So
beautiful. Yeah, I like it. It's a good solid sprint to the end, to the finish line.
Definitely. No, I mean, you got a lot of support. That Brendan and Terry and the team were out just Kumeu Showgrounds on the weekend, getting a great response. So like I said, that's the difference between us and a lot of these other freedom parties, is that you have got a pull with the mainstream. You know, you've been in the mainstream for a long time, and people know who you are. So I think that's a massive asset. You know,
I think you're a massive asset. Thank you, Steve Oliver. Talk soon.
appreciate it. Thanks, Liz.